You guys hear that? The sound of freedom. Do you feel more free? Uh, 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 Damn, that freedom sounds wonderful. No way is that getting annoying. All day and all night long? Man, I love it. Makes me feel glad to be alive to hear loud ass truck honking. That's what really pisses off the elites. Do you know the elites are sitting home right now, scared shitless because a bunch of truckers in Canada are honking their horns? Said no elite ever. But apparently these truckers, they're making a difference, man. They're blowing their horns for freedom. Let freedom ring. Now people are going to say, Jake, you don't know what you're talking about. These guys are taking it straight to the elites. Oh, really? Do you think any of the Rothschilds are sitting there watching television going, oh dear, heavens to Bitsy. I think these Canadian truckers might mean business. We're going to have to do something. No. Pretty sure that they're sitting home going, everything's going according to plan. These stupid motherfuckers are falling for it. That's what I think. So we have a poll going, says, do you think the Freedom Convoy is set up by the elites? So far, we have 50 votes. 72% say yes, to 28% say no. I have a feeling this poll will fluctuate throughout the stream. However, it is, in my opinion, we're looking at a setup event. And throughout this stream, we are going to discuss exactly why I think that. But first, everybody in the house say, hey! Everybody in the house say, ho! Everybody in the house say, hey, ho, get out my house, and don't you come back and shut your mouth. Everybody say, hey, ho, put your underwear on and get out my house and don't tell my wife and don't you even think of asking me twice for some money on your way out, you stupid ho. What, titty in the butt, gonna turn into a bitch, you're gonna turn into a slut? I can't hear you. Look, guys, I'm in Disney World. Just kidding. No, I'm not. I'm in Disney World. Look, guys, I'm in Disney World at the Epcot Center. I'm at the famous Epcot Center in Disney World. Just kidding. Or am I? That's a stupid joke. That is a stupid joke. I am so sorry. All right. Today's stream is brought to you by raw milk. You can get raw milk at a farm near you, hopefully. Or maybe you can't. I don't know. Get on the internet and do some damn research, why don't you? All right. So people have been asking for it. They're like, Jake, what do you think of the convoy? And you know what? I totally ignored the convoy because the one in Australia that was supposed to happen like a couple months back or whenever, it never really fully developed. It never really popped off. So I figured that the Canadian one was just going to be like the same thing. And apparently it's been going on a long time, and people are asking, Jake, what do you think about the convoy? You're not talking about the convoy. You just might be a shill unless you tell us about the convoy. All right. So I started doing my research into the convoy. Now, I'll admit I haven't dove down every single Freedom Convoy rabbit hole. I don't know every detail, but I checked out the mainstream media's version of what's going on, the propaganda. And then I went over to BitChute and I watched a couple BitChute videos of people who support the convoy and who are against the mandates. And then I watched just some live raw feed. And you know what I learned the most? Is just by watching live raw feed. If you watch live raw feed of this convoy, basically what you see is a bunch of people honking their horns, standing around, waving flags, bitching, moaning, and that's about it. Here's what happens. A bunch of weekend warriors from suburbs in the area will drive their cars to the protest, and they'll have their protest gear on, almost like they're going to a football game to watch their favorite football team. They have their protest signs and their Canada flags and their gear. So they'll drive from, let's say, like a suburb neighborhood, and they'll drive to the protest, and then they'll get out and they'll be like, yeah, no mandates. Woo, woo, woo. And everyone's like, yeah, let's honk some horns. Beep, beep. Brr, brr, huh, huh. Yay! And meanwhile, you have to ask yourself, what is that all really doing? What is it really doing? Do you think that the bad guys, the elites, are sitting at home going, holy shit, they're honking their horns? Yeah, they mean business. We better go underground to our billionaire mansions underneath the ground. We better go over to the billionaire islands that are not on any of their maps because we're so scared. These Canadians are honking their horns. Oh, we better run away. Hey, you know what honking your horn does? It doesn't take the people in power out of power. You know what blocking off roads does? It doesn't take the people in power out of power. You know, the one thing people just don't rise up and do anymore is remove people who are in power. And until we step up and actually physically remove those in power, then you're going to keep getting what you're getting and more of it in bigger doses. So you can go out in the street and block off your local town, honk your horn like a jackass. But you know what? All the same leaders are still going to be in place. And so this non-violent, peaceful protest. Hey, you know what? Violence was how your countries were won. That's how independence in your countries were won, theoretically, right? And so this non-violent, we got to be non-violent and we're going to honk our horns. You know what it does? It annoys the shit out of those of us who are real thinkers and real doers. Those of us who are really against the government, I don't think I want to go walk around while people are just incessantly just honking their horn like a tard muffin. All right? And I have been to protests like this. So I'm not just some guy sitting behind the computer screen. I have went to a protest here in Sacramento back in 2020, back when they first locked us down, where there were many citizens, real citizens, genuinely pissed off. But the event of honking your horn, and driving around your truck or your vehicle with signs and shit and pissing and moaning about it doesn't do a damn thing. Now, it feels good to let that emotion out, And it felt good when I went to the protest to be around other people who are mad and who feel the same way. But you're not going to like this. It's an event that's set up for you to be entertained. That's right, you heard it here first, folks. It's entertainment for you. Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained by the trucker convoy? Because that's what it is, entertainment for you. I see all the mainstream media outlets covering it. They could easily not cover it and not give it any attention if it were genuine and for real. But since it was set up by the elites, all the major mainstream media outlets are covering it. And you have Hollywood celebs interjecting their opinions. Like I saw Russell Brand had like 1 million, 2 million views on a video just talking about it. Hi, I'm Russell Brand. Let me tell you my English scripted show opinion on the convoy. Because I'm funny, apparently, in England. And over here in the United States, I'm just a big, faggy little British pussy boy. And let me tell you my opinion with my big fucking horse teeth about the convoy. And it's like Russell Brand gets 2 million views talking about the convoy. And he mixes in a bunch of propaganda jokes. Like scripted propaganda jokes. And I'm like, okay, how can this not be scripted? How can this be legit in any sort of way when all the mainstream media outlets are talking about it? And then you got celebrities chiming in and getting millions of views. Here's the deal. If they didn't want this thing talked about or to spread or to grow, then they wouldn't talk about it. So I see some people, 41%, think that the elites did not set up this event. You got had. Now I know what you're going to say. One of my uncles is in the convoy, and he's real and not a shill. Yes, it's real people with real emotions getting involved. I'm not saying that the whole thing is set up and run by shill actors. No. Real people show up to this thing with their real emotions on the line, thinking that it's all real. It is not all real. It's a controlled event, like a football game. They get thousands and thousands of people to show up with their team jersey on, right, to the football game. Now they're getting thousands and thousands of people to show up to the scripted event, right? Your scripted convoy, and you get to show up, right? If you're on the side of the truckers, you get to show up with your garb on. You're rooting for the convoy team, so you're going to show up with your convoy shit and your convoy sign, right? Like you're going to a pro wrestling event. Yay! I hate you. And here's my sign. Woo, woo, woo. Right? Boo! Yay! Win! It's entertainment. It's entertainment. For those of you who are mad and you want to piss and moan, they've got a designated place for you to go out and piss and moan. And get it all out of you. And you know what I think is funny about these weekend warriors who go to the protests? Check it out. They're like, yeah, Canada, woo! Yeah, no mandates, yeah. We're not going to take it anymore. And then, check this out. Inevitably, feeling kind of hungry. I need to go get some food. I'm feeling kind of sleepy. I'm going to go home and go to bed. And then they get in their cars, and then they drive away. Right? So the weekend warriors are showing up. Yay, we support the truckers. Honk, honk, honk. And then it's like, oh shit, I got to go to work tomorrow. And I'm hungry and I'm sleepy. See you later. That's how that works. I've been to a protest. I've seen what happens. After an hour and a half, 2 hours, people are like, all right, I did this. I did my part for the day. Shit, I gotta get home and make dinner for the kids. All right, good luck to everyone. I'm going back home in the suburbs. You think I'm making this up? I watched the live stream today. You can go watch the live stream of what's happening. Go watch the live streams. A bunch of people standing around, honking horns, waving flags and signs. What are you doing? Why don't you go to the government buildings and physically remove the people who are enforcing these mandates or trying to enforce these mandates? Why are you honking your horn when you should be physically removing the powers around you that are doing this to you? Oh no, Jake, that would be violent. We can't do anything that's violent. Instead, we're gonna honk our hornies. Heh, 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 beep, beep. I don't know about you, but if I was there for about 20 minutes after hearing that many people honk their horn, I would go insane and be like, this is noise pollution. It's physically hurting my body. It's not good for me. I'm getting the hell out of here. I'll bet you the elites plan that. We're going to have these stupid asses honking their horn, driving their own self crazy. And then all the people who believe in freedom are going to walk around while they're listening to somebody blow their horn in a city, right? A place you probably shouldn't be hanging out in anyway, in a big old concrete, unnatural city. Is this blockade happening out in the little tiny forest towns? No, it's in a big ass concrete, unnatural city environment where they got you controlled, of course. So they've got this environment set up for you if you believe in freedom. And you can show up with your freedom suit on and participate thinking that you're doing something. Breaking news. They're going to start charging people with assisting of the blockade. They're going to charge you with some sort of a criminal charge if you bring in any gas or supplies to the truckers. Starting midnight tonight in Canada, anybody assisting the truckers is going to get hit with a criminal charge. So you should probably see this thing start to die down and squelch soon, is my guess. And so you have to look at this event as a testing ground. It's a testing ground for what the people do. How well do people follow direction? All right. What do people do in the name of freedom nowadays? Like how crazy are people going to act? Are people going to just go out in the street, beep their horn, yell and scream, and then just go back home and watch Netflix? If so, now they know that that's what you're going to do. So let's just say the elites wanted to test you, figure out what you're going to do, and they found out that you get in your car, you drive to the protests, you walk around with a sign, you bitch, you moan, and then you get in your car, and then you drove home and watched Netflix and continued living your life. Now they know that that's what you do when confronted with something you don't like, right? Like a mandate to VAXX yourself. So I always look at this like a testing ground, them figuring out what we're all going to do and how we're all going to react. So they start with cucked countries like Canada and Australia, where the people aren't armed so well, where the people are highly controlled. They start with those countries as the testing ground. They're going to be moving those tests over here to the good old US of A, but they got to start with the cucked countries first. So anybody thinking, well, my cousin went to the protest, so I know it's real. Jake, I was there, man. It's completely legit. You really think all that happened completely legit? Let's just break it down for a minute, like this convoy. What happens if they shut shit down long enough and it causes a food shortage? Seems like the elites would like to cause a little mini food shortage and have us all eating at each other's throat, tearing at each other's throats for the last morsels of food in some certain areas. I could see the elites totally planning something like that. Hey, we can cause little food shortages in certain areas and we can test how people react and what they do in today's modern environment. We can see what will happen. And we know that a food shortage causes people to panic buy. Even the slightest bit of food shortage put on the news, that all the news has to say is that this trucker, convoy is causing supermarkets in the area to not be able to get their food. And then people panic buy. And then the shelves are empty. Now suddenly panic sets in. And then you have a bunch of stories where they're going to blame the truckers for cutting off the food supply. You see, that's the problem with blocking off your own roads in your own town, is that it's all just going to get blamed back on you. You cut off the food supply and the traffic. People couldn't get to work. People couldn't make money. People couldn't supply for their family. People died because you blocked off the roads, you idiots. Meanwhile, the elites are sitting there in their giant mansions going, these stupid slaves are doing exactly what we thought they would do. While they laugh, evil laugh, and drink babies' blood, probably. I'm guessing. So I'll bet that the Rothschilds right now are sitting in their mansions, smiling and grinning with what's going on, thinking it's absolutely wonderful and going according to plan. I highly doubt that they're sitting there going, holy shit, these Canadians got us figured out. They're blocking the roads. What are we going to do? Let's go hide underground in our mansions. Oh man, these Canadian truckers mean business. Let's get out of here. Yay! Let's shut down the Federal Reserve right now. The jig is up. No, I don't see the elites shaking in their boots. So again, you got all these people mad, pissed off, ready to rise up. And what do? Honk, honk, We're going to sit still and honk, honk, honk our horns. Why not remove the people in power that you're pissed off at? Oh, no, you can't do that. That would be mean and bad and wrong. Instead, we're going to piss and moan and honk our horns. Jake, do you got a better idea? Yeah, remove the people in power. But we're not allowed to do that. We might get shot and hurt and killed or thrown in jail. Okay, well, sit there and honk your horn then and see which one works faster. I know all this is eventually just going to happen here in the United States, and it already basically has. I was there at the Sacramento Capitol building when people sat in their cars and honked their horns and waved the American flag. And you know what? There were idiots there who were just as bad and part of the problem, who were saying, Trump 2020! Yeah! Trump 2020! It's like, what are you doing here? We're protesting the lockdown. We're not here to talk about Trump winning the rigged election. And so even the people who came and showed up to the protest were tard muffins who didn't even know what was going on or why they were even there. I saw ladies at the lockdown protest talking about Trump 2020, like 50-year-old ladies. Trump 2020! I'm a soccer mom who drove to the protest because I'm an American and my voice matters. No, you are part of the problem, dumb soccer mom lady who roots for Donald Trump, and thinks that you're there for freedom, honking your fucking horn. And so there's just as many stupid people showing up to this Canadian convoy just getting stuck in traffic and honking their horn like a moron, thinking that they're changing the world, doing their part. And you know what? They do that until they get tired or hungry, and then they just go home and go to sleep, and then go back to their slave job and repeat the process. Why not actually remove the people in power? Oh no, can't do that. Can't do that. All right, I went on a huge rant and I probably missed some super chats. Let me go back and see if I missed any super chats or anything. Okay, here's one from Oregon D. Says, have you seen the Illuminati card game? Their card, just the trucker strike. I didn't know there was an Illuminati trucker card. I've heard of the Illuminati card game, of course. Of course, who hasn't? But I didn't know there was a trucker card. Interesting. I did not know that. But it's not, you notice I'm not shocked. I'm not like, no way. It's like, that seems about right to me. I don't even know if I even need to verify it. That's probably just true. All right. Did I miss any more super chats? I don't think so. All right. Just making sure I didn't miss anyone's super chat. I feel bad if someone throws me a donation, then I totally am ranting and I miss it. So, okay. All right. So what do you guys think? I've been ranting and totally ignoring the chat. This is your time to shine. What do you guys think, chat? Let me know what you guys think is going on here. I always look forward to hearing from you because I'm sure we have some Canadians here in chat who can chime in. Any Canadians here in chat who can chime in? Lancer X says a clown car convoy would be more appropriate for the Canadians. Annie0100 says, hold on, the chat's going fast. Says Trump is Crowley's Babylon working moonchild. You know what? Nothing would surprise me. That could totally be true. Corndog81 says that's for a trucker strike, so the card doesn't fit here. Okay, that's true. If it's a trucker strike, I guess that's different than a trucker convoy blockade. Saif Catham says, I'm in Ottawa. Great, you're in Ottawa. Let us know what you think here in the chat. Any Canadians who have any details to bring to my attention, anything you want to let us know, definitely let us know here in the chat. We have over 200 people watching right now, and so I was hoping we would at least get a few Canadians here who could give us any sort of insight. I am an American. I've never been to Canada. I started my research on this subject last night, so I'm not going to sit here and act like I'm an expert. So anything that I've told you so far is just what I've learned since last night. And again, a lot of this is just my opinion. Got a donation from NY Buy. Doesn't have any sort of message attached to it, just a donation. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. And right now, we have our poll going, and the poll says, do you think the Freedom Convoy is set up by the elites? We have 217 votes. 60% say yes, 40% no. And so you guys tend to agree with me, but there's a large percentage of you out there who think that this is completely legit protest. Okay, Dyslexic says, I am Canadian, and this has been a huge grassroots movement, which has woken many people up and brought them together. So no matter what happens, it has been positive. Hey, that's cool that you can at least take that positive outlook from it. That's one thing that does happen is when people do meet at these protests and you put a bunch of like-minded people together, even if all you're doing is honking your horn and waving around a flag, you're still amongst like-minded people who feel the same way as you,
and it makes you feel like you're doing something to fight back against the powers that be. And so, if that makes you feel positive and walk away feeling good, then that, in essence, brought positivity to your life. And so, therefore, you can find positivity in these movements, even if they are somewhat controlled. And like I said, there's going to be thousands or even millions of people who are real and have genuine feelings and emotions. They're not agents, and they're going to show up and they're going to get involved, and they're going to walk away with this, feeling like they did something. And what I wonder is if it's set up purposely to do that, purposely set up to make you show up to this event and take place in it so that you feel that it's real, so that you feel like you're fighting back. Meanwhile, it's a planned event like a football game, bread and circuses, while the evil elites continue with their plan. Because you have to ask yourself, like, who were the original truckers who got together and decided to do all this? And was it totally legit to begin with? Or was the idea uh, put out there by somebody high up the chain? Did somebody high up the chain, an elite member, can come up with this idea and concoct this big plan? Or is it can be a grass movement that gets hijacked and taken over by the government. So any sort of actual grassroots movement that starts to grow, the government can come along and easily stick its evil tentacles into it, insert agent provocateurs within the crowd, and easily take over the narrative through the mainstream media. So you can have what begins as a legit movement, but then gets taken over by the elites. So either way, I don't see how it's possible for any sort of grassroots, quote unquote, movement to stay grassroots. Like once it sprouts, then the roots is no longer grassed. Disregard that last statement, but you get what I'm saying. So once the grassroots movement gets taken over by agent provocateurs, the government jumps in, steals the narrative, hijacks the movement. Then it's no longer a grassroots movement. All right. Uh, Again, I feel like with all this with all this momentum building, why not just take all these damn people and show up to your government buildings and physically remove the people who are in charge, who are even proposing these mandates? To me, that's a much better plan than blocking off all the streets and honking your horns. But that's just me. That's just me. All right. Um, oh, I wrote down here. It seems like an entertainment event that was set up. It's almost like a gay pride parade, but for red pillars, right? It's like a football game, but for anti VA double Xers, right? So it's basically like an event, a festival set up for red pillars and anti VA double Xers, right? People who are anti government. It's like, here's your festival that you get to show up and participate in. Mark of Melbourne says, like the Tea Party. PKOSB says, throw all the politicians in a dumpster where they belong. I've been saying that for years. Even before I started this channel, I always wondered why we let these scumbag suit and ties continue to stay in power. Literally, every time someone protests anything, the thing they don't ever consider doing is showing up to the government buildings and physically removing these scumbag suit and ties. They all wear scumbag suit and ties, all of them. So they all wear this same uniform. They're pretty easy to spot. They usually have like little beady eyes, And they usually speak with a cadence like they're reading a teleprompter. So these scumbags are really easy to spot and get rid of, yet they always seem to remain. Before the protests, after the protests, year after year, these same scumbags sitting in the politician chairs. They can shuffle around your scumbag politicians, but at no point does a group of good guys come in and remove all these scumbag politicians. At no point. Sad. It's such an easy concept. Walk in there and get rid of those guys. But they won't do it. Oh no. Oh no. You got your job and your house and your 401k, and you might get hurt or arrested or something. So you better just sit still and honk your horn. Just sit there and honk. Just keep honking, man. Keep honking. I bet you got the elites shaking in their boots, man. All the Rothschilds sitting at home. Oh no, they're sitting still and honking. Let's go. Let's get out of here. Come on, Lord Jacob Rothschild. Let's get on our boat and head over to our exotic islands and get out of here. We're scared. Let's go hang out at our billionaire mansions over on our exotic islands that aren't on your maps because we're so scared of a bunch of Canadians sitting still and honking their horns. Oh dear. Nah, Jake, you're wrong, man. We're totally winning. The Rothschilds are totally running, man. Donald Trump's quaking in his boots right now, man. Joe Biden is quaking in his boots. The Canadian Prime Minister is running scared, man. They're all just quaking in their boots, bro. You don't know, man. We got them quaking, man. They're totally shaking and scared, bro. Quit saying that the Canadian convoy is not working, because it is. All right, dude. All right, guy who voted that this is totally legit. Okay. You think so? I'm pretty sure just physically removing these assholes who are even speaking of mandates would be the easiest thing to do. But according to the mainstream media, like 80-90% of you have been poked, which I don't believe that for a second. But that's according to the mainstream media, is that the majority of you have already been poked. And so what you have is all the people who've been poked and think that the popular majority have been poked. They're not going to want to help you. They're going to be completely against you. So there's a ton of people who are always not going to want to help and be completely against you. And then all the cops who are simps who take a paycheck, they aren't going to have any problem shooting you, spraying you with mace. They don't care as long as they get their paycheck. Long as they get their paycheck. So I personally see this thing dying down soon because I saw a report that at midnight tonight, anyone helping the Canadian convoy with fuel is going to get charged with a crime. They're going to get some sort of charge. And so, Mama Lula's in the chat. She says, how about all the dumbasses that didn't do any research and gave millions to evil GoFundMe? You just remind me. Thank you, Mama Lula. Glad you showed up. She says, I've known that org is BS for years now. Yeah, I just looked that up. Just before I went live, I came across the GoFundMe stuff. Let me read a mainstream GoFundMe deal so we can hear what the mainstream's saying about the convoy and GoFundMe. So I like to always read mainstream stuff, look at mainstream footage, and I like to look at the stuff on BitChute that supports the convoy, and I like to look at the different fringe sites and what they say, and the mainstream media sites, and then I collect all that stuff together, and I look at it under one big scope, after I see what both sides have to say about these events. And that's usually how I come to my conclusion of what I think and what my opinion is by collectively taking what evidence is given. And I've actually learned the most by going and watching live streams. But this CNN article says crowds of demonstrators join rallies across Canada as C-word trucker protests spread. Let me find the part about the donations, though. All right, this one doesn't have anything about the donations. Damn it. Here we go. GoFundMe backtracks on redistributing money for Canadian truckers under threat of fraud investigation. That's the one I was looking for. GoFundMe backtracks on redistributing money for Canadian truckers under threat of fraud investigation. Facing a potential fraud investigation by the state of Florida, GoFundMe reversed a decision to redistribute money given by thousands of donors to the Canadian Freedom Convoy, protesting C-word regulations. On Friday, the crowdfunding platform GoFundMe froze the convoy's official campaign, claiming law enforcement convinced the company that the convoy had become violent and unlawful. Okay, so they could use this event to change the terms and services of GoFundMe as well. All right. GoFundMe encouraged donors to submit a refund form and said that any funds not properly returned to donors would be donated to a charity chosen by the Freedom Convoy. Within hours, however, GoFundMe walked back the refund applications, instead announcing it would be refunding donors automatically. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis said that he would investigate the company, accusing them of fraud. Interesting. I don't know how much of that's actually legit versus how much of that's propaganda, but interesting. But yeah, I was reading about that just before I went live, the GoFundMe thing. So interesting that you show up and bring that up. That's exactly what I wanted to mention. Thanks for reminding me. Truth is Freedom says if it's on lamestream, you know it's by design, not organic. People suck for being asleep still. Yeah, I saw that all the mainstream outlets have reported on it, and then you have celebs, of course, giving their opinions, like Horseface Russell Brand. And so I actually wanted to run this stream so that I could possibly learn any new information, maybe from you guys or any Canadians here in the stream. And then you guys in chat who are talking amongst yourselves while I ramble, you might learn something new from someone here in chat who's Canadian, who might have some details that I haven't mentioned. So even if while I'm rambling, you're paying attention to the chat, you might learn something new here. And so that's why I wanted to run the stream today, was to discuss the convoy, how legit it really is, and hear from some Canadians. That's one awesome thing about doing these live streams, is that you can get people who live in Ottawa or nearby areas who actually have boots on the ground and let us know what's going on. And these are informants who don't work for the mainstream media. Hey guys, also we have 200 people watching and only 83 thumbs up. Smash the thumbs up for me so we can bust that algorithm. I would light it up, but the people at the office have complained a number of times, so I don't smoke here at the office anymore. But please, if you want me to continue doing this stream today, please smash the thumbs up button. I would appreciate that. Let's get those thumbs going. Ashura says, Jake, do you consider yourself handsome? I do. I consider myself a handsome, good-looking guy. Thanks for asking. Um, Sovereign Dirt says Jake needs a sneak-a-toke. No, I smoke before the stream outside. I just go outside now, and so basically, I don't want my credibility to be taken away from me because I'm always puffing on camera, and it's real easy for someone if they wanted to like make a hit piece about me, could just show all the clips of me like puffing away before I say something, and they'll be like, "This crazy flat earther who gets high all day, he thinks that the convoy," and so I don't want anyone to use me getting high against me, and it also can sometimes bog down the stream. So I notice like I'll stop talking about the content or the subject at hand, and then I'll sit there smoking, and then we'll get off on some other topic. And so rather than bog down the subject, rather than have any of my credibility taken away with me just looking like I'm some stoner, uh, I'm saving the smoking for before I go live. So I'm still smoking. I just do it beforehand and I do it outside. And people here at the office are complaining, and so that it is what it is. I'm pretty sure you guys can sit here and get as high as you want while you watch me. So feel free to load up your own bowl and get as high as you want while you watch me. And we're just gonna bust on with the content. But yeah, please smash those thumbs for me. I would appreciate it. All right. So I wrote a lot of things down that I wanted to talk about. Let me about this convoy. Let me go back over them. It's a lot of media coverage. So there's a ton of media coverage. Um, how much is controlled versus how much of it is real? We've talked about that. Constant horn blowing. In my opinion, it's annoying and it seems like it's a form of torture. So it's like this light form of torture, the constant horn blowing. Eh, eh, like, how long would you want to listen to me on the stream if I just sat here blowing a damn horn at you? Right? Wouldn't you eventually, within a few minutes, be like, okay, I'm leaving? So I look at the horn blowing, the constant horn blowing, as a form of torture, and it's annoying. And then I also see a bunch of weekend protesters who look like they're showing up to take place in like a gay pride event, but for red pillars. I'm here. I'm here for the protest. No more mandates. Do 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 do. Canada. Do do do. We don't like you. La la la. Whatever, right? And then they get in their car and then they just drive back home and go to sleep. And so you have to ask yourself, like, is that really doing anything to scare the bad guys? And then there's real people involved. So there's a lot of real people involved, real emotions on the line, but there's agent provocateurs mixed in, right? Like the BLM movement always has the provocateurs involved, right? And the remember when the Floyd protests broke out on the heels of the lockdown protests? So we had the lockdown protests that had a bit of a grassroots movement, and were actually semi legit. And then they basically stopped all of the lockdown protests with the Floyd protests. So they had the Floyd event with the kneeling on the head dealy. So we have the kneeling of the white man on the black man's head, which caused the entire protest to be switched to a different topic. So we actually had a lockdown protest here in Sacramento, April 2020, and then we had the Floyd protests. BLM movement hijacked the protests, and so the word protest became completely something else with a completely different group of participants. And so they can control these protests and then change the participants at will. So we had a lockdown protest here 2020. The word protest meant protest against the lockdowns and the mandates. and the closing of businesses. And within a couple weeks, they changed what the word protest meant to protesting black rights or for black rights, like, against the oppression of blacks. And they did that with one event, the kneeling of the police officer on Floyd, of course. So with the Floyd event, they were able to change what the word protest meant overnight. So you can't put it past these elites. They have their thumb on the control button, right? They have their hands on the control panel. They decide what happens and what doesn't happen in this world. It's always by design. It is always by design. The world is a stage. Bryn's Man Cave says Floyd was not real, false flag. 100%. So check this out. Here in Sacramento, we had a protest at the Capitol building. Thousands of people showed up, and we were protesting the lockdowns because when they first did the lockdowns, a bunch of businesses just shut down. And then after 2-3 weeks, a lot of businesses wanted to reopen, and they were told they couldn't reopen or else they face fines. And so people started to genuinely freak out and protest for real. And actually, grassroots movement protests started to spark off in several different cities around the country, including here in California, including here in Sacramento. And I was there and witnessed thousands of people all coming together. Within a week or two, I can't remember the exact date the Floyd thing went down, but I swear it was only 1 or 2 weeks after the Sacramento protest. And that event changed what the word protest meant. Suddenly, no one was talking about the mandates. They were talking about Black lives and how much they matter. The word protest then was an entirely different group of people. So the people who came out and protested the Floyd event, entirely different group of protesters. They didn't give a shit about the lockdown mandate. Oh no. So all the BLMers, none of them gave a shit about the lockdown, but they showed up with their Floyd signs over a guy they don't know and never met because they saw some shit on TV. So a bunch of people in my hometown, even in Modesto, had a little protest in Modesto where the cops had to get called and people's feelings were hurt and people were yelling and screaming and bitching and moaning about a guy they don't know and never met. Bunch of Mexicans and black people and self-hating white people walking around in my hometown of Modesto protesting on behalf of a black man actor who they never met. Who they never met. Ali Abbas says Ottawa just declared state of emergency. Could be. I haven't looked into that yet, but that sounds on point. Carlisle Fletcher says the world is a Hollywood stage. Indeed, and agreed. In it. Oh, I also noticed a bunch of truthers, supposed truthers who I never heard of, are now like experts on the convoy, and they're getting hundreds and thousands of views. So now they'll be like some random guy Good day. My name is John Henderson, and and I was up there at the trucker convoy, and now I'm a new expert, and I get hundreds of thousands of views now. I was up there at the trucker convoy, and I'm gonna tell you all about it, and I'm an expert. So now there's like guys who you've never heard of in the truth movement, never made any truth content, who are now experts in the convoy movement, right? And they're getting like 5,000 people watching at once and people just donating buckets of money. So now all you have to do is just show up with a camera and live stream, and people will donate buckets of money and thousands of people will watch. So it makes me wish I could go there just to live stream and just walk around. Like if it was here in the United States, I would get in my car and drive there and just walk around and live stream because apparently thousands and thousands of people will watch you if you just show up and walk around and live stream. So if it was happening here in the United States and I wanted to just like cash in on it, I could totally just drive there and just be like, give me money. I'm here. So now you have these guys whose channels are blowing up overnight and they're making buckets of money just because they show up with a camera. So any of you guys in Canada, I just told you how to make a bucket of money. Did you listen? Any of you in Canada, you want to cash in on this cash cow? Open up a YouTube account and then go live stream what's going on, and you're going to get thousands of views. Just go live stream what's happening. You're going to get thousands of views. Your subscriber count will blow up overnight, and then you can cash in on all that sweet super chat cheddar. I don't understand what's up with like why people are so dumb and like willing to just like dump buckets of money into like, like a GoFundMe for this Canadian convoy. And it's like they really don't stop and think that the whole thing could be controlled from the get go. And these are supposed to be the woke people, the smart ones. So wouldn't they be the ones who are supposed to figure out that this is set up beforehand? Apparently not. Christopher Wells says, I've seen 30K on a live stream. I've seen crypto scams pretending to be NASA live feeds with 20 to 30,000 people watching. So YouTube will allow shit to go down that is very sketchy. I've seen a NASA stream. It was somebody with a fake NASA channel running a crypto scam, and they had 20,000, 30,000 people watching at once. And just as I was going to make a video about it exposing it, the stream came down. But then it left me to wonder, how long was the stream going and how many people lost their crypto and got scammed? And can YouTube allow these scams to go on and totally be in on the scam and then take down their own scams and pretend that they're fighting against it? Why not? So imagine YouTube allowing a crypto scam to go down and then pulling down their own crypto scams and then just pretending that they're fighting against it. Oh, yeah, our algorithm and our AI detected a crypto scam and we pulled it down. Well, how do you know that YouTube wasn't the one pushing the scam? So let's say for 2 hours, they run a crypto scam on a fake NASA channel that says donate Bitcoin and we'll give you back double. Donate Ethereum, we'll give you back double. And you can be part of NASA's research crew. Let's just say they run the scam and YouTube allows that to happen for 2 hours, 20,000 people watching, and then they pull it down and say this channel was terminated due to community guidelines. Well, that's basically, it could just basically be them running their own scam and then pulling their own scam down, right? So imagine YouTube being in on it. It's not too far of a stretch of the imagination. So whenever I see 20,000, 30,000 people watching an event, YouTube can shut that shit off at any point. So if YouTube didn't want these events to be seen by a ton of people, they can suppress and shadow ban your channel. I know so because I have a shadow ban channel. I know what it's like to have videos go viral, and I know what it's like to be shadow banned. and have your video completely shut down to where they freeze your view count and unsub people from your channel. And I know what it's like to have a video going viral to where you refresh the screen and there's thousands of new views within seconds. I've had videos that went to hundreds of thousands of views and then instantly shut off and then don't get any more views at all after that. And so I've had videos freeze up. I've seen a lot of weird shit go down. And so let me tell you, the numbers here on YouTube are highly, highly edited and controlled and manipulated. The numbers here on YouTube from every standpoint are extremely manipulated. So if you see a video that has X amount of views, it's manipulated. If you see X amount of thumbs up on some of these channels nowadays, it can be manipulated. If you see these scams running, like the crypto scam running on a NASA channel with 20, 30,000 people watching, yeah, leads me to believe it's all part of the evil plan. But I can't prove it, of course. Can't prove it. XIO says, I have a video with 14K views. Then someone reported my video and it stopped getting views. I posted, here's proof. I posted a video of the NFL, of a dude running on the field in the NFL and getting tackled. And I did a full slow motion breakdown of this guy, a crazy fan, ran out onto the field and he got tackled. And so I did a slow motion review of this video. And it actually made it into Google search results as the second video that you'll find of that event. So in one night, I got 20,000 views, and that hasn't happened on this channel in a while. So I finally was going to have a viral video, finally. And you know what it was? Me breaking down an NFL video. Within 24 hours, the video is at 20,000 views and running strong. Guess what? Some random guy copyright strikes my NFL video. And the video was monetized and I was making money on it. And so with 20,000 views, I had made $75 on this NFL video and was set to keep making more. So this video was probably going to make me $400, $500, $600, maybe $1,000, who knows? So I had already in one day made $75 on this NFL video, and some random guy who claims he owns the video copyright struck my video. So apparently the fan in the stands whose video clip I used, the 45-second video clip, he's claiming he owns this and he copyright struck my video. And so here's the problem. I used his clip, but I did a slow motion breakdown with my own audio. And so since I added my own commentary, that's called fair use. I get to make video breakdowns and add my own commentary and transform the content. So under fair use, I can take someone else's content, add my own commentary as far as if I'm going to make a parody or if I'm going to do news reporting or a critique. In this case, I was doing news reporting and giving my critique. And so using this NFL clip under fair use in this random the video on day number 2. So here's what happens. I have to file a counter-strike notification. It takes 2 weeks for them to put my video back up. And so the only way the video is going to stay down is if the guy takes me to court. And he has to prove that he's going to take me to court and send the official documents that he's taking court initiative to keep my video from being reinstated. So if someone copyright strikes your channel with a false copyright strike, you have the option to do a counter notification. Here's the problem. It takes 2 weeks for the video to go back up. So guess what? In 2 weeks, do you think that video is going to keep getting views? No, it's not. So when the video does go back up, and it should be like within the next few days, it's been almost 2 weeks. So within the next few days, next week, that video with 20,000 views is going to go back up on my channel. I'm going to win. I know for a fact I'm going to win this dispute. I've won several copyright strike disputes in the past with fair use. And so I know I'm going to win. Here's the problem. They take your video out of commission for 2 weeks. So I don't get any views or any revenue on a video that was going to go viral. So this motherfucker stopped my video from going viral, pulling money out of my pocket because it was a monetized video with ads running and it was going viral. And if on day one I made $75, 20,000 views, that means by day two it could have went up to 40,000, 50,000 views, and then it could have really triggered that algorithm and it could have shot off and maybe got a couple 100,000 views, which would have equaled 300, 400, 500 bucks for one video. Now, it's not all about the money, but when somebody basically shuts down your money faucet, it pisses you off. So I like to break down the NFL and the fact that it's rigged, and I like to break down these little situations that we see on television and that we see on YouTube and question the reality, whether or not it's rigged or fake. And I did my own slow motion replay breakdown, finally had my video not shadow banned, getting the proper amount of views that I used to get back in the day, and some asshole copyright strikes it. And then I have to go through this whole damn process to get my own video reinstated. And then when it does get reinstated, the views are frozen at 20,000. Nobody's going to be looking up that video anymore because it's 2 weeks old now. So, bro, you're talking to one of the most shadow banned channels on the internet. They allow me to continue. They allow me to be monetized. They allow me to say stuff. But they won't allow my channel to grow. They won't allow me to build a new, bigger audience. It's like they just keep me stuck at 40,000. So each time I upload a video, they remove 30 to 50 subs. And then the next day, I regain maybe half those. And if anytime I make a different sort of video that doesn't go in line with stuff I've made in the past, so if I, let's say, make a video about elephants being made of stone, then they remove like 100 subs from me just instantly. Like, you made a video talking about something you don't usually talk about. Instantly, 100 subs removed upon upload. Upon upload. So imagine looking at your sub count and it says 40,380. And then you upload a video and then it says 40,300. And you're like, dude, they just took 80 subs from me instantly. And if you go tell anyone about it, they don't care and they don't believe you. So anytime I bitch about this, people are like, we don't care. We don't believe you. Whatever. Even my own subs don't give a shit. They're like, yeah, whatever. So YouTube's numbers are bullshit. Somebody like me, in the content I've created, in the talent that I am, I should be at 4 million subs. 400,000 minimum. But no, they keep me frozen at 40,000. Frozen. They will not let this channel continue to gain subs. And they do it in the form of subtracting the subs upon upload. So it's the minute my new video goes on uploaded is the minute they subtract the subs. So it's not like throughout the day people unsubscribe, at different points throughout the day. No, the second a video goes up. And so over on BitChute, the opposite happens. No matter what I upload, no matter what the content, the channel grows at least a few subs each and every time I upload. So if I go to BitChute, I can upload me making fun of a girl with a fat ass and people will hit the subscribe button. I can upload me making fun of NASA and debunking NASA and people are hitting the subscribe button. I can upload me talking about the shills, people are hitting the subscribe button. So over on BitChute, my channel doesn't lose subscribers at all. I'm sorry, Rusty. Sorry, buddy. Think about that. Think about that. On BitChute, I can upload whatever the fuck I want, and I always gain more subscribers. And people don't unsub. And if they do, it's maybe one person, and then the next day, 10 more show up. So I'm slowly gaining a fan base on BitChute, slowly but surely, and people don't unsub. But over here, people get unsubbed against their will. Been happening for years. For years, people have been getting unsubbed over here. So I know it's not the content that I'm creating that's driving all these people away, causing me to lose hundreds and thousands of subs. I know it's not my content. It's YouTube suppressing me and my content, not allowing me to be seen in the Google search engines. Because the last time I was in the Google search engine and my NFL video was getting seen by new people, oh, magically I gained 50 subs that day. They don't like me gaining 50 subs that day. They don't like me making money that day and picking up a new audience. So some random shitbag copyright strikes the video. Well, there goes my viral video. Let me see if I missed anyone's super chats or anything. Here's one. It says from Maddie Simoti. Maddie Simoti? Hope I'm saying that right. Says it's led by a gay guy named BJ Dichter. Ha 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 ha. The trucker convoy? Is that what you're talking about? The trucker convoy is led by a guy named BJ Dichter? You can't be serious. If the trucker convoy is led by a guy named BJ Dichter, then we all got had bad. Well, actually, I shouldn't say we all, because I told you it's a setup event, in my opinion. So you all who believe in it got had bad if the guy who's leading the thing is named BJ Dichter. I haven't verified that. Let me type in that name right now into Google and just see what comes up. Canadian honking convoy trucker BJ Dichter, honk master general BJ Dichter joins us for an on the ground interview. Oh my God, there's a guy involved named BJ Dichter. That's it, you guys. Game, set, and match. Game, set, match. I did not know that. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. In fact, that makes this whole stream worthwhile. I wanted to see if I learned any new information by running this stream, if anyone could bring any new information to the table. Okay, so in the convoy is a guy named BJ Dichter. What are the odds? And he happens to be one of the main popular guys. Come on. Come on. I mean, come on. BJ Dichter. You can put a false flag bow on this one, y'all. Set up from the get-go. If someone is named BJ Dichter and they're involved in something called the Freedom Convoy, and they're one of the main guys involved, you got a problem. Now you have to convince yourself that there's a legit dude named BJ Dichter who legit is against mandates and that this whole thing's totally legit and it's just a funny name. Total coincidence. Okie dokie. Oh, thank you for bringing that to my attention. Dominic Z with a donation says, funny. Hey, thank you. Glad you're enjoying it. It's a serious subject, but I try to make things as funny as possible because if we're all going to go down in flames in a big giant shit show, clown show known as the world, then why not go down laughing? You know, when I die, I want to laugh to death. I want to be laughing when I die. It's the way I want to go. Jay Bowen says, we've all been dicked. BJ Dichter. Oh my God. His name may as well have been like Rod Suckadick. We're here with the convoy trucker, Rod McSuckadick, and he's hanging out with BJ Dichter. And they're going to be talking to the police captain, General Woody, right? Carly Fletcher says boycott YouTube. No, Carly Fletcher, don't boycott YouTube because they still allow me to do this. So while I bitch and moan that they won't allow my channel to grow, they still allow me to broadcast. They still allow me to be monetized and run these streams and get super chats and all that. So I am glad that I can do this here on YouTube. So a part of me still enjoys YouTube, and it's better than the alternative platforms, which mostly suck. And so I still like YouTube. It's just there's a lot of shit that's wrong with it. Ever since they sold it, it's become more and more evil each year. And so like anything that I once enjoyed, it all pretty much turns to shit. But right now, it still is where the party's at. Like if I did a stream over on an alternate platform, I wouldn't be able to get as many people joining in at once. And so, um, for the time being, this is where we're still at, where the party still is. And so you can go watch my videos over on BitChute and whatnot, but they just don't get as much views and as much traffic over there. But I'm slowly building my audience over there, and so each day I grow a little bit. So one thing they don't do over on the alternate platform like BitChute, they don't take away my subs. That's how I know it goes on over here, is because over there it doesn't happen at all. All right. Lee Anti NWO says, very fucking true as always, mate. Hey, you know how I am. I like to spit the truth as I see it, and I don't like to candy coat shit. I like to tell it as it is, how it be. All right, let's look at the poll now. The poll up at the top of the page says, do you think the Freedom Convoy is set up by the elites? We have 385 votes so far, so almost 400 votes. 59% of you say yes to 41% no. So basically a 60-40 split. All right. Annie O100 says billionaire playboy casino builder worshipped by millions of so-called Christians. Oh yeah, I think you're talking about Trump, right? Are you talking about Trump, Annie? Billionaire casino builder worshipped by millions of Christians. Yeah, the funny ones are the ones who say that he was sent by God. Trump was sent by God. He was sent by God, and he's gonna save us. He's gonna come back in the next election, and he's gonna save us. Let me tell you something. I'm gonna come back and save you in the next election. And do you know what I'm gonna do? If you vote for me, I'm gonna have China fund the entire thing. The whole thing's gonna be funded by China. I'm gonna I'm gonna have China fund your next rounds of boosters. But if you don't vote for me, then you're gonna get the same thing you have going on now. So if you want to see China funding the next round of boosters, you vote for me. The way I see it, I'm gonna walk on over there. I'm gonna look China right in China's ugly face, and I'm gonna say, "Hey, you're fired. You're fired." And then I'm gonna have China personally pay for your sixth round of boosters. I'm your favorite president, of course. And you know what? Trump lovers are like, I love this man. I love him, I do. He's gonna get them Chinese to fund the sixth round of the booster, and we're gonna live happily ever after. You better run, Oprah. I don't understand how people fall for it, but they do. And then the ones who are like anti VAXX, but they're Trump lovers. They give him a pass. He's just saying that you should take the VAXX just because he has to. He's playing 6D deep state chess, all right? He's only saying it because if he doesn't say it, then people are going to be mad at him. It's like, what? So they always give him a pass. Well, he can't say that because he's playing deep state 6D chess. So instead, he says that he took the VAXX, and you should too because he's faking them out. He's trying to trick the libs into becoming anti-VAXXers. Yeah. Like, are you really that tard muffinish that you believe that? Yes, I done ate me 5 tard muffins for breakfast this morning, so I am full of tard muffinish. Oh. All right, so we got somebody who says his name's Polls on Man says, I don't think it is set up, but I think it is going to be used by the elites against us due to supply line shortage and people possibly starving and whatnot. See, that's why I think it is set up, so it can be used against you. That's what makes me think for sure it's set up, is what you just said. They could cause a food shortage. Who would want to cause a food shortage? The elites. I could see the elites totally planning an event like this. First, we'll get them to sit still. Then we'll get them to honk their horns. Then we'll get them to cause their own food shortage. And then we'll get all the people to protest in the streets while they have horns honking and annoying and driving them crazy. And then they'll go to the supermarket to buy food, but the food will be gone. And then they'll just turn on each other. So I could see the elites totally setting it up for that exact reason. Justin Manikai says they tested it with toilet paper first, worked like a dream. Yeah, especially with the women. God, you got to blame that on the women. Women and toilet paper. Because they're emotional creatures. So you didn't see men freaking out about the toilet paper as much. Because when push comes to shove, a man knows that he can wipe his ass with a washcloth, wash off the cloth, and then re-wipe your ass with the same washcloth. It might not be super fun to have to wash shit out of a washcloth, but if you wanted to, you could wipe your ass with a clean washcloth and then clean off the shit off a cloth and then re-wipe your ass with it. Any man with any logic can figure that out. It was the women who were like, oh my God, I need toilet paper and there's no toilet paper. I'm going to drive an hour and pay double the price, triple the price for some toilet paper. Oh my God, toilet paper. Definitely it's women. Now, I know there's going to be some women here in this chat who are red pilled and smarter than that. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about your average sheeple women, of course. So, any red pilled woke women here in the chat, I know you're probably not the person who I'm talking about. But women are highly volatile creatures whose feelings, oh my God, they think with their feelings. It's like whatever they're feeling in that moment is like what they project back to the world. It's like based on their whole personality is based on their feelings. And so if a woman is faced with a thought that she might not have toilet paper for any length of time, she doesn't have the logic to sit there and think, "Oh well, I'm just going to wipe my ass with a washcloth for a while, whatever." No, she's going to freak out. Oh my god, toilet paper! Ah! And then she's going to do that to her husband, who's going to be like, oh, "Okay, we'll go drive an hour and pay triple the cost for toilet paper so that you'll shut up." Women are the easiest to brainwash. They really are. Women are much easier to brainwash than men. And then all the simpleton, sheeple, libtard men uh, who are married to these women, who let these women drag them around by their Johnson, they go along with all that. Hod D says, "I don't even need toilet paper. My squeezes are perfect. I have to top. I have to hop up and avoid that bead of water that jumps up, though." Kadoink! Yeah, yeah. The ploppage causes the splash. But see, I like the splash. The splash washes your ass clean. See, if you get a proper splash, it's like a it's like a kaplunk of water that then washes your ass for you. See, so I think the kaplunk in the water is good. All right. Justin Manicky says, "Ha ha, gross, Jake. A little poop humor. I never hurt anyone now and then. Come on. Just a little potty humor." We've been talking about the convoy for an hour and a half. It was about time we had just a little bit of poop humor. Just a little. Just in case we have any 5-year-old kids in the house who appreciate a toilet joke. All right. Mad Max says backsplash is good for you. And TM for 2023 says everybody poops. Indeed, everybody poops. All right. We're gonna move on. We're gonna move on. Okay, so final votes now. We're gonna wrap up the poll. Please make your final votes now. We are going to be wrapping up the poll in chat. The poll says, "Do you think the Freedom Convoy is set up by the elites?" Which means, do you think the event was pre-planned by the elites? It was an idea that came from the evil ones rather than us regular folks, us civilians. And so please make your final votes now. Boom, ding, 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 boom, ding, ding, boom, ding, 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 boom, ding, 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 boom, ding, 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 boom, ding, ding, boom, ba-da-ba-ba, ba, boom, boom, boom. All right. The final vote, 414 votes. 59% say yes, 41% say no. I actually thought it was going to be a higher percentage of people saying yes, but apparently a large amount of you think that this thing was all natural and did not come from the elites. A little shocked by that, but okay. Faith says anyone with any common sense knows it's a false flag setup. I tend to agree with that sentiment, but apparently, out of 420 votes, there's people out there, a significant portion of them who believe that this thing was pure organic grassroots movement started by some truckers, one of which named BJ Dichter. All right. Faith says, I seriously cannot believe that there's that many people in the chat, but that think that that trucker protest is organic. And then he has a bunch of mind blow emojis. Hey, unless YouTube is throwing some ghost votes in there, or unless there's a shill out there with hundreds of sock accounts who's manipulating the vote, that's what it is. I was wondering the same thing, Faith. I was wondering the same thing, but who knows? All right. All right, guys. With that, I've been on here an hour and a half. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up and let you guys enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I'm going to go enjoy the rest of my Sunday. I'm going to get out there, enjoy some sunshine. And I'm going to forget about this convoy for the rest of the day. I would suggest you do the same. Just go enjoy the rest of your day. Get out there and try and suck in some of that sunshine, if you will, and enjoy your life and try to put this shit behind you. That's what I'm going to do. Unless you're really into it. If you're really into it and it's your thing, well, then by golly, drive on over there and honk your horn. Honk your honking horns. Until next time, this is Jake the Asshole telling you,